It's been at least 3 to 4 years since we've seen an upgrade in AverMedia's external capture card lineup, but that all changes today with AverMedia's newest release, the Live Gamer Extreme 3 capture card. Coming in at the retail price of $170, you're going to have the ability to pass up to 2K at 120Hz or 4K at 60Hz. This capture card also supports UVC, which means it's going to be plug and play when you connect it to your Mac or Windows computer when trying to stream and record your gameplay. And did I mention this capture card also can pass a variable refresh rate? Now, if we take a look at the back side of this capture card, this is where we're going to find the input and output slots of this device. Starting on the left side, you're going to see your HDMI input, which is going to connect the console, whether or not that's your PS5 or Xbox, via HDMI to this capture card. The HDMI out is going to have an HDMI cable coming from the capture card all the way to the monitor or TV that you might be using. The USB 3 port in the middle, that's going to connect the capture card to your computer. To the right of that, you're going to see two auxiliary ports. One is going to be for line in, which can accept mixer inputs if you have one, but you can also use an Elgato ChatLink cable. That way you'll still be able to record your game audio from the controller that you're listening to with your headset, even if it has a microphone function. That doesn't mean the microphone is going to travel through the capture card. No, it's only going to be heard for your party on your gaming console. As I always say, you're going to need to have a dedicated microphone, such as a USB microphone, connected to your computer so you can have that commentary audio for your recordings or streams. Don't rely on line in for your microphone audio, unless you're using a mixer, of course. Line out is where you can either listen to your audio, which I don't totally recommend because it's going to be pretty loud, or you can pull that line out audio to your computer to be monitored and recorded. Now, you'll know that your capture card isn't set up correctly if you see it flashing red. That's a no bueno. If it's a solid blue light, you're good to go. Now, there's a couple different programs that you can use to record and stream your gameplay. AverMedia offers one called ReCentral. You do have to dig through their downloads page to find the right up-to-date ReCentral application. In my case, I was testing this out on macOS, so I made sure to download the up-to-date corresponding version. One of the interesting things that happened when I launched this application is that it asked me to do a computer test, which is actually really handy because I don't think a lot of people understand how well their computer may or may not handle streaming and recording. So this app kind of lets you know. On screen right now are the computer specifications that AverMedia recommends for using their capture card on Mac and Windows computers. Left out here notably is the Apple Silicon chips, but those will also work using this capture card. My 2017 MacBook Pro with dedicated graphics came back as acceptable, which means it should do a decent job. And I'll admit that it did. I only got hiccups when I tried to go for 1080p 60, so that's not going to work for this computer with that application at least. Switching to OBS, adding the video capture device, the AverMedia source, we're selecting the capture card, and I can tell right off the bat that the audio and the visual gameplay that I'm seeing into OBS is a lot more in sync. If I were to guess the delay time, I'd say maybe 1/4 of a second delayed. It was running really well. Now, for most of you guys, the audio is going to add automatically when you add the video capture device, but for some of you guys that are on macOS, you may need to add a new source and select the audio input capture. Then you can select the AverMedia capture card as its own audio input device. The recording and streaming quality from the AverMedia Live Gamer Extreme 3 capture card is solid, and you'll honestly have no issues capturing your gameplay as long as your computer is decently spec'd. You know what? I think it's time we take the cat out of the bag here and compare it with its competitor, the Elgato HC60X capture card. Let's first take a look at the maximum pass-through resolutions that these capture cards can accept. For the AverMedia capture card, you can pass up to 4K at 60Hz, 2K at 120Hz, or 1080p at 120Hz. The HC60X, on the other hand, matches AverMedia's pass-through with the exception of being able to pass through 1080p at 240Hz. Comparing the maximum recording resolutions between these two capture cards, the AverMedia can record up to 4K 30, 2K 60, or 1080p 60. With the caveat to record in 4K or 2K, you'll need to use the ReCentral application and you'll need a pretty spec'd out computer in order to run that efficiently. The Elgato HC60X, you can record in 4K 30, 2K 60, or 1080p 120 FPS, which you'll be able to configure easily within the capture card source within OBS. Now, using the AverMedia capture card within OBS, you'll be capped at a 1080p 60 resolution. Now, a bigger difference to me between these two capture cards is that the HD60X comes in at $200 and the AverMedia comes in $30 cheaper at $170. But if you guys want to get it even cheaper for $20 less, use my link and code description below for $20 off. Something else I discovered between these two capture cards that the AverMedia has a major advantage over is when you're using the chat link cable. I know we hit on it a little bit earlier, but there's something major here that I have to let you guys in on. And that's the fact that this capture card, when you're using the line in, it'll automatically switch the audio to that port for your audio input. Unlike the HD60X, where you have to go inside an Elgato capture card software and switch it to analog, you don't have to do any of that. So this is perfect for those of you guys that can't get the upgraded version of the Elgato game capture software. So a lot of you guys that are on Mac, even myself, I can't use the HD60X with the chat link cable on Mac OS. AverMedia capture card, no problem at all, it switches for me. Only thing I recommend you guys do that are using the chat link cable is to just add a gain filter in OBS so that way you can make that audio louder. Now your viewers can hear your gameplay. But what about an image quality comparison? Recording some Rocket League replays within OBS using the dedicated graphics card in a 30,000 bitrate on my computer, can you guys tell which capture card is which? Because I'm gonna be honest, I cannot. I don't see any significant quality differences between the two images here with my eye. You guys can let me know if you see something different. One other thing I have to mention with this HD60X is that when I was trying to boot up Cold War several times, it would just black screen, flicker out, completely distort the visuals on my screen. It would be recorded right. That looks fine, but what I'm seeing on my screen on my 1440p Koorui monitor is completely messed up. I don't care what the reasoning is, a black screen is just inexcusable. When using the AverMedia capture card, exact same setup and settings, no problem at all playing Cold War in 120 Hz. I can see it properly and it's being recorded correctly as well. So at the end of the day, who is this AverMedia Live Gamer Extreme 3 capture card for? Well, if you're someone that's playing in 120 Hz in 1080p or 1440p, then this is definitely for you, especially if you're a console gamer. I'd also recommend this capture card for my macOS Intel and Silicon chip users because this is the device you're gonna need if you're using the chat link cable. As for the future of capture cards, we need to get support for 4K at 120 Hz. There's monitors coming out for it and we need external capture cards to be able to support that. It would also be amazing if we could get mobile applications that support a capture card input. That way we can record our PS5 or Xbox gameplay right onto our mobile devices so that we can edit our footage straight from the phone. We don't have to do all these transferring of files. And if we have a mobile app, that'll make it easier for Chromebook users to get involved in the streaming game because right now it's really messy for them, unfortunately. But there you guys have it. That's AverMedia's newest capture card, and what a beast it is for being light and powerful at the same time. Hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new on here. Don't forget about the links in the description below with my code if you want to get $20 off this capture card right now for a limited time only. Shout out to AverMedia for hooking me up with this capture card. I really appreciate you guys for that, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.